Hi, everyone. Stephanie Cook here, Couples Counseling ATL Director. And I want to talk about a very salient issue that's come up with a lot of our couples lately. And it's when your partner will not consider going to couples counseling. What is the person to do? So today, I just want you to know you're not alone. First of all, this is very common. And my first recommendation is to avoid taking this personally, even though, of course, it feels so personal. Please don't jump to conclusions about what this means. Again, it's very common for one person in a couple to be very comfortable with something like therapy and for another person to really not. In the vein of not jumping to conclusions, I would say that just because you feel maybe hopeless about the relationship doesn't mean that it's truly hopeless. Just because you feel like your partner doesn't care enough to go to couples therapy doesn't mean, again, that's true. It may feel hurtful to you, but they may care, but have a lot of different feelings or history about therapy, reasons why they're reluctant to go. One of the best things that you can do as a partner is to see this as a difference between the two of you rather than indicating that they don't care. So don't read into it too much. Again, try not to take it personally or as a rejection. Don't panic that this means our relationship will end if they won't go. So you may or may not need to push the issue again. There are lots of options that I'm going to tell you about that which may or may not result in something like an ultimatum. It really does depend on the degree of your issues and especially how strongly they're feeling about being anti-therapy. They may have mixed emotions and kind of have some ambivalence that could work out. And eventually they say yes to therapy, or perhaps they really are completely flat out refusing and will not go. And those are two very different situations. One of those first situations is if they have mixed emotions about going to therapy. One of the first options is to just take the lead. You could schedule with our counseling office, maybe just a free 20-minute video consultation or the 80-minute paid initial assessment. And you just let your partner know, I've done this. I really want you to come. Before the session, you could share the website, the videos that we have of the therapist, some materials to ease their anxiety. If they're willing at all to even just go to one session, I'd really reinforce that. I'd also just let them know, rather than saying, you better come or else, no threats, I would, positively reinforce any willingness on their part. So saying, it would really mean a lot to me if you would consider going. I'm really concerned about our relationship. I love you. I really want to work through some of these things. Many more people are more inclined to be willing to go with positive reinforcement than with threats. So don't punish them if they say no. Just let them know, no matter what, I'm going to go. I'd really prefer that you go. I'm going to be going and talking about our relationship and hopefully working on it with or without you. If they really are leaning out of the relationship or out of the marriage and unwilling to work on it, you may consider the option of discernment counseling, which is it's not couples therapy. It's just where one person is leaning in and wanting to work on things, and one person is maybe leaning out and really considering breaking up, separation, divorce. It's a very time-limited, more diagnostic form of counseling to even see if this relationship can be repaired and salvaged. It's only up to 5 sessions. Some people who are not willing to attend couples therapy are willing to attend something like discernment counseling. If you're interested in that, look on our website at counselingatl.com under the discernment counseling tab. Maybe send that to your partner and let them know this might be an option or an alternative to couples therapy to even consider whether or not we want to keep working on this relationship or even stay in it. And then for you personally, you may come to a point where you have to choose between accepting the status quo, the fact that your partner isn't willing to work on the relationship, or to take a stand and to maybe go see an individual therapist at our practice, for example, to help you work through whether or not I want to be in this relationship. And is there anything that I can do to improve it, even if my partner is unwilling? And then obviously one of the other options is just attending alone. Many people really can improve their relationship all by themselves, being the change they want to see in the relationship. You could learn the same skills that we teach couples, but by yourself. And oftentimes we see that many people who were initially reluctant to go to couples therapy, when they see their partner starting to change in some really positive ways, it might inspire them to go. And so that can also be really potentially effective. And it can just help you to also potentially feel better about you doing your part, taking care of your side of the street in the relationship. And then again, hoping that they will change, or hoping that your efforts will improve the relationship, even if they're not working on it. And because we are expert couples therapists, we're not just biased towards individual concerns or just the benefit of the person. We're also concerned about the benefit of the relationship. So, in many individual therapists who only see someone individually are biased just towards that individual and are much more likely to encourage you to divorce or separate or end the relationship because they just have so much empathy for you, but they're not thinking about necessarily the commitment that you've made to the relationship. So we usually are encouraging couples to not just think about their own self-interest, but the interest of their partner, even if they're just seeing us alone. So that can be really helpful when you're just attending therapy alone, to make sure that you're seeing a therapist who really is pro-relationship. Lastly, be proactive. Don't just let your partner's reluctance be the end of the conversation or make you feel hopeless about the relationship. You can start therapy on your own. You can set up an appointment and invite them to come along. Indecision is a decision. So if you just keep waffling around, change will happen, but it might not be the kind of change that you like. So really think about just taking matters into your own hands and really intentionally growing, especially in yourself, maybe even with just individual therapy, so that you're not having to struggle with the relationship matters all by yourself. Maybe getting the support of a therapist can really help you through this difficult time. And as always, we're here for you. Reach out to us. We'd love to help you.